All right, we're talking about mobility today. And mobility gets confused with flexibility a lot, but they are not the same thing. Mobility is strength over a range of motion. So you have stability in individual positions over a full range of motion. Flexibility just refers to having a range of motion you can move into, but not necessarily having control or stability in any one of those positions. And now this is important because a lot of times people think, oh, if I get more flexible, I'll be more athletic. It does not work like that. You want to be more mobile to become more athletic, because when you're more mobile, it means you have control over this range of motion or in this position. Now understand, when you're looking at this, there's total, complete, unconscious range of motion is the broadest end of the spectrum. As if I was unconscious, my arms and joints could go however far they're possibly able to, that the tissues and everything hold them still in there. Then you have what's called passive range of motion, which is when I'm awake, how far can someone push my leg or my shoulder? So my passive range of motion here, how far can someone raise my shoulder up over my head? Then there's active range of motion, which is how far can I raise my shoulder up overhead, okay? So there's anatomical, passive, active range of motion. And within this active range of motion, there's how far can I actually control and move. So understand, working on flexibility is just working to improve this passive range of motion, which is in general just being more comfortable with the discomfort that comes with in range of motion, being stiff and tight and feeling that, right? And that stiffness and tightness is your body's feedback saying, hey, I'm at the end of a comfortable position where I can hold and do this. And tissues don't really lengthen. This is one of the things people think when they're stretching, they're gonna get longer tissues. It doesn't work like that. What really works is getting stronger and more mobile in any position, and that implies that you are doing that more often. So here's a simple takeaway from all of that. You are as mobile as you need to be. If you needed to be mobile enough to do a split because of something you did every day, you would be mobile enough to do that. If you needed to be mobile enough to take your shoulder straight overhead because you were lifting things overhead every day, you would be mobile enough to do that. Think about something that you do every day in your life that you can't do because you're limited by mobility. There aren't any, because your body generates enough mobility to do that because it's something that you're doing. Your body operates on the principle of use it or lose it. So if you're not using it, why would you expect to have it? If you don't speak French every day, why would you expect to be able to maintain the skill of learning that language? So understand, when you're looking at mobility, it's a general reflection of what you do every day. So the best way to improve your mobility is to do things more every day that you want to reflect your overall mobility. Meaning that when you're training, you want to train through a full range of motion. You want to squat all the way down. You want to be able to do a dead hang pull-up and let the arm hang all the way down. These are important because these now add in movements that you may not be doing every day, but you can increase the frequency. And over time, you'll see that your body responds to change what it's able to do based off of what you're doing on a daily basis. So that's hugely important, because a lot of times our mobility focuses just on stretching, which is kind of sitting there and being passive and hoping that our bodies get more loose. It may feel good, but that's about the equivalent of scratching a bug bite. It is not going to do anything effective for you. So the end takeaway from this is understanding that the goal is to improve mobility, which is a range of motion that you have strength and stability over. That does not mean that increasing this range of motion is going to do you good, because if you haven't increased also the strength and the stability in that range of motion, you now have uncontrolled ranges of motion, and that's called laxity. And laxity is where people get injured. So focus on doing things and training and moving in a way that represents a full range of motion that is healthy for you, and make that part of your daily motion and movement rhetoric so that you can become a better, more stable, and more capable high-performing athlete.